Hello everyone, welcome to a D&D player journal for our campaign that we are playing. And this one is for July 9th and it is entitled Turning Tides, which is going to be an in-joke that hopefully you'll get once they explain it. Probably, maybe. Maybe not funny, but we'll see. Hey ho. Yeah, Turning Tides. So we started off the session having just arrived at Castle Burnham, which is the capital of the territory controlled by House Drummond, and we're on our journey to the east to Knightsbridge before we leave like the civilized part of the world and go through the Bitterwood Forest. And we'd heard on our way in by some Varisian travellers. They'd told us that the Duke's daughter was missing. They were being harassed by a group of House Drummond guard, some House Drummond mounted cavalry. They were like harassing them, and we intervened with the help of a road warden. It all went with no trouble. That was the last session. They told us about the Duke's daughter having gone missing, and this session picked up with us starting off our actual search for and seeing if we were going to get involved in it or if we were going to just continue on with our journey because not really anything to do with us. But we're playing D&D. It's a plot hook, so we're going to bite down hard on it as players, aren't we? So I don't think anyone was surprised when after a night's sleep we all went around town in our different ways trying to figure out what was going on. So we initially started off in a tavern and tried asking a little bit with the innkeeper and listening to a conversation in the tap room, and it's kind of a little bit of old news at the moment. She disappeared like a week ago, so it wasn't much gossip. So we had to actually like pose a question to people, ask if they knew anything, and lots of different rumors like the witches stole her from the Purlwich Wood and stuff like that. But we did find out when one of the characters went out to a blacksmith to get some of his weapons tended to. The dwarven blacksmith told him that the Duke had called with banners, so it kind of escalated the situation a little bit. We all got a little bit twitchy. But then it was made abundantly clear through our like, trying to find a way into the castle and if we could meet with the Duke, try and get some more information about the circumstances of the disappearance. The characters of our station on lower level were never going to be permitted. Like the Duke's wife was an archmage, so like a level 15 mage, I think. So, yeah, we were not really going to be invited into a castle and given our way. So I'd kind of tried to think up different ways and means of trying to find out information. So I literally went to a laundromat, which is a turning tides. Where they send their all of the different inns send their bedding and stuff to be cleaned. Which was pretty amusing. I was literally just trying to find somewhere where people would be gossiping, and as we went in, we were introduced to a nice impromptu character called Ribbles, who was gnomish a gnomish wizard, and it was described to us that he claimed to be a lowly wizard, but he was an an arc laundromancer. So yeah, he cleaned all my robes for me with magic. All the dirt like flew itself off of my robes, and whilst I was having this service attended to, I had a bit of a back and forth, having the gossip leaning in and trying to talk like on the hush hush. Well, I heard that this and these people have been saying that the what was it, the House Stanley have kidnapped her, and that's why it's called the Banners. And then I told them about Revisions, and all the gossip carried on going around, but nothing really solid. They didn't have any leads as to if she was like supposed to be married or anything like that. Any reason why she'd want to flee the castle. So we kind of decided we'll head up into a woods because it it's a woods to the north called the Pillowitch Woods, and it seemed like we'd get into some bother up there. And that was when the as we were leaving the NPC, we'd met Sarah. She re-entered the story. We'd let her sneak away at the end of the last session, so her father didn't find out that she'd been out of the city for like a week, and it, she dropped the bomb on us that she'd heard that she was the Duke's daughter was in the catacombs underneath the city somewhere. So we headed into the sewers instead. That got some dice rolling. We got ambushed by some invisible claw monsters. I'd love to tell you what we're called, but I don't own the monster manual because I like being surprised by all the different monsters and not knowing what they can do. And I think if I own the monster manual for 5th edition, I'd probably read it. And I don't know whether I want to read it because that might ruin the surprises. So yeah, I'll have to actually look at what monsters they were. But pardon me, sorry about that. It was a challenging encounter because these creatures were invisible. So we were fighting and people going down. So I'm casting healing spells and rolling terribly for all of my healing rolls, but hitting stuff with my hammer. So I'm happy. No one else is because they're all like getting smashed. I managed to keep everyone up. No one goes down, and then gets to a monsters round of initiative, and nothing happens. The models are still on the tactical map, but okay, we'll see. So I feel around, and yeah, there's a corpse on the floor. It just died, and we didn't know because they're invisible. That was pretty good fun as well. So overall, I think the session definitely had some high points. The laundromat was really well done by Greg. I know everyone at the table enjoyed that moment, and I tried to play up to it and role play a bit of back and forth, so that was pretty good fun. And whilst it didn't, I think those are the things that are memorable about campaigns, why it didn't really affect the story or give us any usable information. Well, I'm in the sewers. As soon as I get out, I'm definitely going back to this laundromat to get cleaned up and have more interactions with them and stuff like that. So it's good fun. Um, then the combat was really interesting because it was in a sewer, so we're trying to balance out which side of the sewer you're on with the water in the middle and not get dragged in and um trying to figure out, do I need to get closer to people so I can use the touch based healing so I can give them more, or just use level 2 spells for healing word so I can keep attacking and use my bonus action to heal. And that was the route I went, but unfortunately I was rolling like ones for the actual healing amount. But I'm a water main cleric, what do you expect? It's not my fault. Um, all the way through that, it was pretty interesting, like trying to keep it going, um, and not knowing if they were dead or not, or what was going to happen. So they were really good. I think the only criticism I would have would be like we spent a day around town, but we were obviously spending all of our efforts trying to find out information, and then we kind of got dragged back out of what we'd decided, which is fair enough. Once we're obviously presented with the information, we're gonna make the correct decision, I think. But I don't know. It felt like we wasted a day of just. I don't want to say wasted because Jeff's character managed to reset a lot of cantrips and stuff and find a wizard's tower and bought a couple of spells. So that was time well spent. What needed to be done, and there's probably a good chance that if that information was just put in front of us, we move straight on to a content type thing and don't linger in the city. So it was probably more of a way to force the pacing, but maybe if I don't know if it had been maybe I might have liked to see the NPC come back in the morning and then have a conversation. Then she'll say, I'll ask some questions, disappear again, and then maybe come back the next day. So we feel like we're not wasting our efforts because it was I don't know if frustrating was the right word because I wasn't really that invested in necessarily trying to save the Duke's daughter, mainly because when we had the tarot reading and uh, the visions from the old gypsy lady, uh, had said that she didn't seem to be in danger and she'd left of her own free will, and I'm quite happy for her to go and make her own mistakes. So that didn't really bother me. I was happy to, if she's in danger, to put myself at risk and make that part of the quest. But I wasn't gonna just make this the story. But everyone else was pretty keen to do it anyway, and I don't know. I feel like I'm babbling around in circles, so maybe I should just wrap it up. But if that was going to be part of it, I think that's how one of the only things I would have changed would probably have been have the NPC appear earlier, tell her that she was going to find information, and then we can focus on enjoying the sights and sounds of the city rather than all because like we went to a church and all of the conversation was geared around trying to get information about this woman. We went to the laundromat, I suppose. So had that happened, maybe we don't have a laundromat experience, so we miss out on that. But well, there you go. I don't know. It's a hard one. So like one of the highlights of the session probably wouldn't have happened, but I feel like the pacing of the session would have felt better. But yeah, that's it. That's my player journal for it. I suppose this one went a little bit longer. Yeah, sorry I've said a lot and tried to think. It was shows you it was a good session because I'm having to like think about how I would have done things differently and that the knock-on effects of that. But overall, it was good. I was definitely liking the actual interactions with the city. Now we're in an actual big place, and Greg's describing everything. It's all of a scale we've not seen before, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to well, the next session will start in the sewers. I'm looking forward to actually getting through that, and then I want to see the contrast now because he said like Knightsbridge is going to be an even bigger city than this one, and that's like the last place. So I want to get through that to see the contrast, and then I might regret it and want to come back, but we'll see. And yeah, that's it. I'll just wrap it up now. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it. I always like a little bit of back and forth we get in the comments of these videos, and if you've got any questions about the campaign or anything like that, or if you're interested in more Dungeons and Dragons content or role playing in general, make sure you check out That's Initiative, where myself and Greg, who's DMing this campaign, go through our thoughts on different topics. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.